Hello everyone, welcome into Above My Pay Grade. My name is Eric. Worst words you can say in investing and in finance is this time it's different. However, for us, in our lifetime, in the macro setup we see, this time it is different. The fiat standard and the fiat Ponzi scheme, which is fiat being government declared money, it's money because government says so, it's not backed by anything. That system is falling apart. Why did it work for a while and now it's falling apart? Is because we had high interest rates in the early 80s because we had inflation. And slowly but surely, those interest rates have been falling. And those interest rates have been falling to allow for more money to enter the system, to pay off the old debt, et cetera, et cetera. And that system works until the interest rates are at zero. That's where we're at. We're at zero. And what do you do when you can't lower interest rates anymore? You have massive economic pain, meaning inflation, depression, recession. Because when you raise interest rates after they were at zero, that meant all that buildup of money in the system, starting at 20%, going down 19, 18, blah, blah, blah. It was just more money compounding on top of more money on top of more money. And then it got all the way to zero, which meant easy borrowing standards, which meant more money in the system, because remember, money is loaned into existence by banks. Loaned into existence by banks. So it was more money every year on top of more money the last year in the system. Now, when you raise rates in that environment, it's catastrophic. And you see that in the economy today. Big companies talking about laying off workers. Recession outlook is bleak and all this kind of stuff. And there is no option B, right? We're here. And what are we going to do about it? And I've already said, credit doesn't actually make things cheaper. It makes them more expensive. Think about it. Anything you buy on credit, unless you pay it off right away, makes it more expensive. And it doesn't just make it more expensive for you. It makes the actual price more expensive because it makes it more competitive to buy. When you can buy on credit, a lot more people can apply to buy that item, whether that be a house, whether that be a new jacket with a credit, whatever it is, it makes it more expensive, which causes inflation. And when I ask people, about home affordability, I talk to them about, hey, look, would you rather pay cash for a house if it was $50,000, or would you rather finance it for $250,000? That's kind of the difference. If you can't finance things for 30 years, how expensive do you think homes would be? That's the point. And so that's how fiat works. Fiat is constantly adding new money to pay off old money. And the Ponzi scheme works as long as there's new investors. And those new investors in this system is lower interest rates. When there's no more lower interest rates, there's no lower to go. What do? You have inflation. The deleveraging, meaning how much money has been borrowed in the system, it has to delever somehow. So either through default or through inflation, right? If you owe a bunch of money to a credit card company, you either say, hey, I can't pay it, or in the government's case, they do have one other option, and that is to print it. And that's what they choose all the time. And so when I ask people, what their outlook is, oftentimes they have a little bit of hope because they think, yeah, I've heard it all before and all this kind of stuff. This time it is different. It really is, because we were at zero interest for the longest time, and raising interest rates just makes the Ponzi scheme crash that much harder. And at the same time, you have the lizard people in Congress, and their solution to everything is printing more money, which causes more inflation. So if there's a government program that's becoming insolvent because of inflation, their answer is just either print more money or tax people more. How does that work in a recession? Not well. Not well at all. So getting out of this system, I think, is the answer. And you can do it individually. Buy things like gold and silver. I like Bitcoin. Buy things like Bitcoin. Buy hard assets that the government can't print more of. Because no matter what the currency is, something that's valuable, something that produces a good or a service, maybe that be renting out a property, that's a good or a service for somebody, it's somebody's dwelling, is still going to make money. But fiat system, what a lot of people did in 2021 is speculate. So they put their money somewhere hoping it would go up, price go up. But anything that the government can't print more of, that's where you should be putting your money. Because this doesn't end well, unfortunately. You've seen it with emerging markets who need dollars as the Fed is tightening and pulling liquidity. It's pulling dollars out of the system. Countries that need dollars because they have dollar-denominated debt. Again, dollar-denominated debt. That's the difference between us and them. We can print our way out of the debt. They can't because they need dollars. They can't print those in Sri Lanka. They can't print them. So they have to have an exchange rate of some kind, or they have to produce something in order to get dollars. They can't just print it. And so we are in the catbird seat to some extent, but it's not going back to normal. It ain't. And by the way, it hasn't been normal for the last 20 years. We've just delayed the inevitable. And the inevitable's here, right? And people can put their head in the sand and pretend it's not gonna happen, but it's going to happen. It's just math. We have to default on this debt one way or another. That is through government printing or flat out telling people we can't pay you anymore. So, yep. What a time to be alive. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Let me know what you think the government options are, and if this time it is actually different. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.